Hey everybody, I'm excited to chat with you real quick on a couple quick tips and tricks around how to write a book and talk about writing and publishing. We actually just released a brand new book, short, quick, simple, more how-to guide and resource. I talked through some of my strategies. I'm going to mention a couple of those right now, as well as some, how do I write? How do I publish? How do I get the content engine going? And I want to encourage you guys, if you're trying to avoid writer's block, got some strategies in here. You're trying to put together a book that feels like it flows well, it's strong, it's healthy, it's getting the point across, it's making a difference. I got a lot of that content in here. If you're trying to figure, okay, how do I launch a book? What should I self-publish? Traditional publishing, how do I go about that? I got some great strategies, some tips, some ways that I've done things, how to release it, number one, a few different ideas like that, but more than just tricks and gimmicks. It's okay, what are some proven strategies? I'm 12 plus books into it now, plus additional resources and study guides and all of that. So this is something I'm real time in, and I want to encourage you guys and try to help you walk through a few things to get over some roadblocks really that may be stopping you guys from beginning to actually write and get your book out there. So many things I could talk about. I want you to grab a copy of the book. We also have an e-course that kind of goes along with it. But I think what I want to lean into real quickly is this area of the getting your content engine going. When people think about, they think about being an author, they think about writing. A lot of times you hear the terms like writer's block, and man, how do I avoid that? And how do I, keep the content strong and fresh and not get myself into a spot where I'm running out of concepts or ideas, or I just get stuck in the middle of the story or in the middle of a chapter. And I think that one of the things I want to help you guys with, that I believe will help you guys never get into that spot where you got writer's block, I know it's helped me, is this area of what I call it the 5 buckets, right? So it's a writing strategy. I talk a little bit about it more in the book, but it's a content development strategy because if maybe for some of you watching this, you just got one book you want to write, awesome. Maybe for some of you, you feel more like a writer. You feel like it's a part of your mission, part of your mandate, part of your passion, right? Is to write, create, solve problems, create resources that are going to help serve people in whatever genre or capacity that you might be in. So years back when I was really beginning to develop as a writer, when I first realized I enjoyed writing, because as a kid I hated it, I didn't like grammar, I was annoyed by it. Sorry mom, my mom was my amazing homeschool teacher, professor extraordinaire, and she tried her best in that season to get me to love it, and I didn't. I wish I paid more attention, but anyways, now I'm about it, so thanks mom for getting me started on that. But as I walked through the writing process and began to really get passionate about it, one of the things I committed to was identifying 5 categories, 5 areas of life, maybe leadership or parenting, or maybe it's a specific part of your industry. It's a technical industry, it's education, it's the arts, whatever it might be. 5 areas where you feel like you have something you can say, something of value. You may or may not be the absolute complete total expert on it, but you got something of value that you want to be able to get out there, and you've got something to say. So identify those 5 things. Then I create like an Evernote or a notes app or however you want to take notes, and I created a different note for each of those 5 categories. Then throughout my days, whether it's just in doing life, whether it's been in reading the Bible, whether it's in conversations, whether it's in my different industry, having connecting with whoever, an idea would come, a concept would come that would kind of fit into those 5 buckets. Man, we chuck them in. I throw them in there. And they would just be rough concepts. Starter ideas is really what you want to think. These are buckets that literally you just throw in something in the bucket, throw it in the bucket. And all week long. Then once a week on Friday or Saturday, I take out the Buffer app or whatever your social media kind of scheduling type of app is, and I would schedule out the next week, kind of Monday through Friday, a thought from each of those 5 buckets every morning consistently. And I just committed to myself, I'm gonna enhance as a writer. I'm gonna strengthen as a writer. And what I did not realize that was gonna do for me was unbelievable. It really, really helped me in a big way. Why? Because it started this content engine that has been going now for a decade plus and has not shut off, okay? This content engine helps you overcome writer's block. It helps you always have something that you're adding value to, serving people really, really well. And I find that when you create the buckets, it's like your mind knows, your heart knows, hey, I've got concepts that I'm trying to write about. So you'll start seeing it in everyday life. You'll see it in your marriage. You'll see it in your friendships. You'll see it in your kids. You'll see it in your work. You'll see it in the word. You'll see it in a movie. You'll see it in music, right? You'll experience this and you'll start throwing ideas and concepts in there. And as I began to do that, man, then I committed, I did it for a whole year. Then I did it for another year. And what happened is at the end of each year, I found that people would start commenting without even me asking, man, what is going on? Man, your writing just leveled up. And the only thing I could really chalk it up to is just the fact that I consistently, intentionally was shaping ideas and concepts to post on social media. And I limited myself to the original Twitter length, character length. And so because of that, I had to learn how to say great important things in a succinct way. And that's really, really important if we're going to communicate well, right? If we're going to actually communicate well. So from there, I've written so many books off of those topics that I started with. Those things have gone on to become greater resources. And the biggest thing is not necessarily how do I write books to make money? Although you can make money as an author, it's lion's share of the income that I bring in is through my writing and through my books. But the biggest thing is I never set out to be a writer as a primary source of income. I set out to write because I was trying to solve problems. I was trying to answer things for people. And the more you serve people, again, just as a case in point, this book on how to write and publish a book. Well, I know there's people who want to write, who want to publish a book. So am I going to make money off of this book? Absolutely. But my primary thing is that I keep getting asked questions about it. And I'm like, man, I want to help resource. I want to serve. I want to add value to people. I want to create something that's actually going to help people learn how to write, how to level up, and how to get their message out to people, right? So that's ultimately the conviction and passion around this. But every one of my books is like that. How am I serving people well? I talk a lot about identifying your audience, clarifying your concepts, your topic, your book titles, all of that kind of stuff is in the resource. So I hope it encourages you. But I hope you take, even if you don't get the book, this idea of the buckets, pick 5, pick 3, whatever it is. Get your buckets built, identify them, and start creating content. And all of a sudden, you'll go from man, do I have enough to say? I'm getting writer's block to man. I got right now on my phone. I've got a list of 20 books that are yet to be written yet. Concepts that I'm starting, ideas I'm beginning to build and to shape. And I'm telling you what, you'll get into that spot where you're not just trying to pull your hair out to find fresh ideas for a book project, but actually have an overflow. You'll have an abundance of ideas and concepts. And in that spot, it's fun to write. It's exciting to be able to serve the different audiences that God puts in your path. Okay? That's it for this. Any other questions, comments, chuck them my way. However we can help you write and get your book out there, we want to do our best we can. We know that you have a message in you. You've got such a time as this type of word that is on the inside of you, a strategy, a concept, an idea, a resource for people. And it's time to get your message out there.